hit you up. Alright. You can't hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hold on. Can you hear me now? Yeah, I don't know what that's about. But, yeah. Dual Record is a good app to use. I got an app called, I got Camtasia, and there's another app, InShot. It's called InShot. I use that sometimes to record the stream, but I set it up before I did the live stream or whatnot, you know what I'm saying? So I just went ahead. I'm just moving on faith, man, you know? Shit, if they drop the stream, you know, they do what they gotta do. Who cares? We just know that we here building on a late night hour. Salute to everybody that's in the building. And y'all niggas should be, I guess nobody got a job, because you Negroes should be asleep unless you're on the West Coast. Shout out to everybody on the West Coast. I saw the fires out there. I even seen a tweet by Tariq Nasheed on Twitter, and he said that his family had to leave. They had to evacuate because the fires was burning near his house. So I'm sending love and light to him and his family. I'm hoping and praying that nothing happened to the brother's property, you know what I'm saying? Because that would be a tragedy, you know? But anybody out there in LA that's affected by the fire, you know, just sending y'all love and light. You know what I'm saying? Tinseltown is burning down. Like Blue Pill said, where there's smoke, there's fire. So I guess with the sex scandal going on in Hollywood, the motherfucking hills are really burning and shit, you know? Hollywood is burning down. So, you know, be safe out there. The homie said he can bless your site for free. I'm gonna bring you in. I don't know what that means, but yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm just playing. I know we all got jobs. We all are industrious, illustrious people. I'm one of those self-employed characters. So, you know, I be all up on a late night in my creative modes and shit, waking up late. But that's nothing to brag about, because believe you me, if anybody who's out there who works for themselves, you get tired of that shit after a while. You strive to wake up at 5 a.m. with some of the working people to have a more productive day, because the way that the time is going these days, if you wake up at noon or 1 o'clock, your day is gone. You don't even have a day. You could do like 2 things and the shit is off. You feel me? So, you know, one of my goals for the new solstice, the winter solstice, the hibernation season, is to wake up at like 6 a.m. and shit. You know what I'm saying? I gotta switch my hours. I'm gonna try to be that dude that goes to bed at like midnight and get up. I did it before. I had a regimen where I would wake up at 4, and by noon, by 12 o'clock, I have, you know what I mean? Like, I would meet my quota for the day. Like, I would, you know how you work certain hours to meet your quota? By noon, I would have met my quota, and everything else was extra credit for the rest of the day. I was super focused. I was able to take care of all of my tasks. And as an independent business owner, I mean, I don't know if y'all realize it or not, but you gotta work double, man. You can't just work. When it's just you and you're carrying multiple businesses on your shoulders, my nigga, you gotta be on you might not even sleep. Like, you see the money bags under my eyes. Like, I don't even sleep sometimes, you know what I'm saying? I might go to sleep at 6 o'clock. You know what I mean? So, yeah, the air is mad fresh at 4 a.m. Crispy. Especially in the winter, that shit is crispy. That you could get that good, you know? Especially if you're into meditation and all of that. And then you sun gaze when the sun is coming up. There's a brother by the name of Azazel. People know him like as Azariah in New York. He talks about the rituals that you do when Horus is rising. Remember Horizon? That's Horus rising. They attribute that to the sun rising. and then sunset. So Horus and Set. Sun is when the sun is setting. So the ritual is to put your intentions into the sun when it's rising, and it's indicative, like you're meditating and you're putting your intentions into the sun. Remember, we live in a quantum holographic universe. So you're putting your affirmations and you're putting all of your sentiment, you're putting all of your vision in the sun when it's rising. Horus rising. You might be eating fruits. You might be working out. You know what I'm saying? You might be on your grind and you're like, yo, you affirm it. I'm affirming that I'm going to have a powerful day. I'm going to meet powerful people. I'm going to have positive experiences. Look, I'm going to have negative experiences that I'm going to learn from, because I've been studying Manly P. Hall. I suggest that y'all get on Manly P. Hall. Very interesting teacher. I was studying him many, many years ago. I'm getting back on him. He's a Gnostic. He's expanding my mind on, you know, just all kind of shit. And he explains, you know, the world that we live in, especially us as black people, aboriginal, indigenous, whatever you want to call yourself. We're so caught up in this utopia mentality that every fucking thing is great, not realizing the reality that we exist in is imperfect, and shit is gonna go wrong, and shit is going to, if it's an imperfect world, my nigga, if things are going to be imperfect, we have to learn as a people to live with that. We have to learn to have experiences, both negative and positive. They speak about polarity, and he even referred to it as ma'at, the balance, the perfect balance, meaning that you might have a fucked up day, but if you're able to extract the positive out of that fucked up day, if you're able to extract a lesson out of that day, god damn it, then it was a good day. A lot of us have bad days. A lot of us are going through things. A lot of us are carrying mad shit on our shoulders. I'm personally carrying a lot of stuff on my mind and my shoulders. But when you realize that all of these things are doing is forging you. When you go to the gym, they're gonna, if you want to get more brolic, if you want to get buff, you have to increase the weight, or you have to increase your sets and your repetitions. All of the weight that black people have on their shoulders in these modern days and times, we would not have this weight. It would not be given to us if we could not carry this shit. The reason why we have all of these issues is the fact that we have to prove that we can solve them. In solving them is where you're going to find your divinity. In solving them is where you're going to find the right to move ahead on the evolution assembly line. Because if we sitting around crying and shit in a time where these crackers are dealing with quantum mechanics, quantum computers, they going into Mars, they're gene splicing, they found a God particle, but black people are talking about shit that happened in the 60s. We're reflecting on things that happened in the 1600s. We're putting our minds all in the past, all into ancient Kemet and whatnot. We're not doing how the quantum is doing, superpositioning, meaning that you could be in two places at the same damn time. You could be in the past and the future. So we just in the past. I don't hear a lot of niggas talking about the future. We're not on our Afrofuturism. The furthest we going into the future is niggas is gonna go watch Black Panther dressed up like Wakanda. That's the furthest that we talking about being in the future. And Childish Gambino was going to be in a new Star Trek, and we're hype about that. But we need to exist in two places at once. We can do that. You live in a quantum universe, okay? Go and research the shit. You don't live in a linear time zone. You live in a past, you live in a present, and the future at the same damn time, like your boy Future told you. So, as futurists, I'm a visionary. I think about the future a lot. I'm putting myself into the future. Collectively, the creatives that are amongst us, every time I get on the live stream, I feel like I say the same thing, because I'm going to keep saying it. I'm going to keep adding on gems to the lesson, because it's going to one day, you know, make sense. That we have to get behind the creatives that are in our community. The creatives are the people who create shit. You know, the motherfuckers with the video cameras, niggas with pens and whatnot, rappers with microphones. Those are the creatives. The same people that were responsible for the Harlem Renaissance, those were the creators. The same people that were responsible for the Renaissance in Moorish Spain, those are the creators. The same motherfuckers that was responsible for ancient Kemet, those are the creators. It wasn't just the priesthood. It had to be some real, they had to be some talented motherfuckers to put those megalithic structures up. And they wasn't slaves. Those were artists that put them damn things up. Artists and scientists. We are in our DNA, especially if you're from the west coast of Africa. If you do your DNA and it traces back to Ghana, Senegal, them motherfuckers are natural mathematicians, artists, and scientists. Benin, Nigeria, North Africa, the continent. Going to the villages. Look how they lay out the villages and fractals and whatnot. That's where they even get the binary code system, the zeros and the ones. But now we live in a new day. It's called quantum. It's no longer 0 and a 1. It's 1 1 0 1 1 0 0 0. It's all of that shit at the same damn time. So we're talking about jumping forward, a quantum leap. We have to take a quantum leap. That's the conversation that has to permeate the community the same way that the conversation about victimhood, the same way that the conversation about negativity, the same way that the conversation about gossip, the same way that the conversation about all of this toxicity had the same way that all of that has permeated our hearts and our minds. Because remember, they say eat right, eat healthy, right? But you also have to think healthy. You also have to hear healthy. You also have to see healthy. You dig what I'm saying? Me being in 125th Street for 10 years, I don't give a fuck if I was eating avocados and tomatoes all day, my nigga. I was seeing unhealthy shit. I was hearing, just picking up people walking by every day. You see how these things are scrolling right now? And when you on Instagram, you can have a ratchet timeline and it's just be scrolling. Well, picture standing stationary on 125th Street, and all of this toxicity is just scrolling. You're seeing toxicity, and I'm lucky because I'm in New York. I travel without niggas that live in, you know what I mean, Milwaukee. No offense to nobody's city, but I'm just talking about murder capitals. I'm just talking about places that are stuck in a certain time period. I'm not saying Milwaukee is, but I've been places where I got off the fucking plane or the bus. I'm like, my nigga, is this the 70s? Like, this shit look like the Cleveland show. So, when you listen to the radio, all of that, I mean, you know, I turn up to the mumble rap. I don't know how to do the dances and all of that, but I might, you know, I fucks with Little Trash Bag, you know what I'm saying? You know, Little Sanitation, you know what I'm saying? Little Garbage Can, all of the trash rappers, Tanashi 6ix9ine. I lend my ear because I'm part of the culture. I'm a correspondent. I'm a connoisseur of the music, so sometimes you can't help it. But God damn it, my niggas. Do you see this shit on World Star every day? Imagine what that's doing to your mental health. Imagine what that's doing to your spiritual health. You understand? Imagine what that's doing to your body. Like, imagine what that's doing to us. Because it's not just about getting healthy. You eat many different ways. So I always talk about going to sleep. When you go to sleep, you could put the YouTube on a binaural beats. Those are beats that are at certain kind of frequencies, 8 hours, 9 hours, and whatnot. That's gonna help recalibrate DNA. That's going to help deal with some of our pain bodies. That's going to help deal with some of the stress that some of us have on us. That's what we have to start doing. Everybody always see me with headphones on. I got the headphones on, so I don't got to hear some of these niggas sometimes when I'm on a fucking train. You know what I mean? I'm listening to positive things. I'm listening to lectures. I'm listening to classics. I might be listening, you know, to some old school hip hop. When I go to my father's house to visit with my son, he's listening to jazz and shit like that. Like, I'm really trying my best to surround myself by high frequencies because you might not realize it now, but when your fucking liver starts failing you, you know what I mean? People dying of heart attacks, people getting cancer and all of that. That's because of your environment. So in this community,
binaural beats. It's called binaural beats. B-I-N-A binaural B-I-N-U-R-A-L. Binaural beats. It's a whole bunch of different beats. 587 gigs. Let me see. What's the gigahertz? This is one of the videos that I was checking out. The Manly P. Hall. You know what I'm saying? He's a fucking legend. He's a beast. You know what I mean? I mean, you know the music is straight toxic right now. It's like the shit is like addictive. You know how they talking about they on the lean and they on pills and whatnot? Well, goddamn it, the music, the shit is addictive like heroin. It's like fucking pills. It's like you keep going back for more. But underneath the music is all kind of frequencies that you might not be able to pick up with your human ears. Toxicity. When you look at the videos on WorldStar, toxicity. When you go on Facebook sometimes, toxicity. So all I'm saying is we can change that by changing our minds. We could change that by changing our conversation. We could change that by upgrading the information. You know what I'm saying? Young Thug had a lean IV. Yeah, that's a crazy Negro right there. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like, my mind is in the future right now. You know what I mean? Like, I'm really about to fall back and just recalibrate a lot of things. And it's just for transformational purposes. I talked about it the last stream. It's hibernation season coming up. When the hibernation season comes up, if you're somebody who is getting in touch with your God self, if you're getting in touch with your netter self, well, you have to observe nature. And nature dictates that during the winter solstice, you niggas supposed to fall back. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to fall back into your fucking cave and hibernate, meaning that you have to take a little bit of time off of social media. You know what I mean? You might be in a toxic relationship. You might have the homies is around you that you're not feeling their energy. You just got to remove yourself from some of those situations. You know what I'm saying? And you got to hibernate, and you have to plant the seeds so they could grow in the spring. So I'm going to be doing a lot of that. Hopefully, you know what I mean? I mean, that's my intentions. But you never know, because it should be curveballs out here. So, yeah. Yeah, the news. Imagine if they didn't have the nightly news. Imagine if they didn't have the 24-hour news cycle to scare niggas, to put you in a negative mind state. Imagine if when you turned on the TV, it was wild, positive stuff, and it was high-frequency information, and it wasn't fear-mongering. How long they been telling you niggas we going to World War III? Like every day with the new Trump administration, it's some World War III shit going on. World War III scenarios, rumors of war. They always putting people in a fear state. So in a fear state, fear emits a certain kind of frequency. Fear stagnates people. Fear stifles your growth. So if the whole goddamn world is in a perpetual state of fear, come on. You know what I mean? Come on. It's a lot of people that's gonna become sick. That's why that whole healthcare thing is a big thing, because they know in the future, you know, they just slow roasting the people. You know what I mean? But like I said, all things are occurring the way that they supposed to be. We in the Kali Yuga, all right? This shit is supposed to be going on the way that it is. The question is, how are you seeing it? Are you observing it as the observer, like an owl on a limb? Or are you niggas personalizing everything that happens and wearing that shit like it's happening to you? That's the key. You know what I'm saying? That's the key. You have to be able to remove yourself from all of this shit that's going on, the same way, you know, when you go to the movies and you get so encapsulated in a character, you like, no, Jody, oh my God, you know what I mean? Like you crying and shit, and you crying for the character, you're living vicariously through the character. You got to stop doing that shit. You got to just sit back and watch the movie and don't put your feelings, don't put your soul, don't put your spirit into something, or a story or a mythos that doesn't have anything to do with you. That's the same shit with this motherfucking hologram that we watching. This don't got nothing to do with you. This is a fucking lesson. This is the planet Earth. This is the university. You niggas is in class. You know what I'm saying? Are you in history class boo-hooing when they tell you about what the fuck happened to the Indians? No. You just understand what happens. You carry on. You might put in your mind, well, I hope them niggas get revenge one day, blase bloom, and then you go to the next class, biology, and you cut open a fucking frog and whatnot. But you're not taking it personal. It's the same thing with this shit out here. Don't take nothing personal. Go on Google how many fucking people died today. Go on Google how many babies was born today. Niggas die every day, B. The famous words from a young Harlemite. Niggas die every day, B. So you gotta understand that this is the cycle of life. You're not gonna stop that shit. You're not that powerful to stop the motherfucking clock from ticking. So stop taking the negative shit personal. Stop wearing it. I'm realizing the health effects that it has on the mind, on the aura, on the spirit, on the soul. It's not good. And then motherfuckers is all depressed, don't want to get out the bed, don't want to do nothing, don't want to create nothing, don't want to be about nothing. You know what I mean? So then when the negativity, the gossip, everybody pulls over to watch the car crash. When the fuck shit takes place, you run to that shit because it's feeding your lower self, because you have been putting your lower self the minute you woke up and start watching the news or you got on social media, you all in your lower self. So anything on YouTube that's going to speak to your lower self, anything in the streets that's going to speak to your lower self, any of these fuck niggas that's around you that's pulling on your lower self, you're going to react to that shit. You're gonna feed them. And by feeding them, you getting checkmated. It's like a parasite. Somebody is siphoning energy off of you that you should be utilizing for creative purposes, my niggas. That's what you should be doing. You should be, and remember, the psyops that's taking place is that there's 44 million black people on the planet. A huge majority of those people are waking up, but a huge majority of those motherfuckers is dead, asleep, zombies. Those are the people that they're really working on right now. That's who the media, that's who the government, that's who the fear campaign is directed to. That's who they rocking to sleep. And group consciousness is basically the vibration of the whole group is lower frequency. And they're reacting to that. They're looking for ways out. So they're going to run to the mumble rap. They're going to run to the pill popping. They're going to run to smoking dope. They're going to run to doing all of those things. You know what I mean? They're going to run to selling pussy. They're going to run to the strip club to watch asses shaking. Because when you stressed out, when you're depressed, what the fuck is going to put a smile on your face but some asses shaking? You know what I'm saying? But looking at some titty shake. You know what I'm saying? When it gets to the point where you don't even want to see that anymore, well, goddamn it, my nigga, you gotta have to kill yourself or something. Like, it's over. You know what I'm saying? It's time to fucking check out. You know, but that's what's taking place. So the record labels know that. You know what I mean? That's why they signing all of these little teenage niggas, and they're telling them, all you need to rap about, get your face tat. You know what I'm saying? They're giving them the face tat startup kit. Get your choker. You know what I mean? We're going to give you the Gucci with the flowers and a snake on it. And there's rap about selling bricks, fucking niggas, girls, skirt, and all of that shit. And you're going to get millions of people are going to watch, because Chicken Little, the sky is falling. Motherfuckers is living in perpetual fear. So escapism is the order of the day right now. Nobody wants to face the reality of a Trump America. So they're going to go to the fantasy land. Fantasy land is mumble rap. Fantasy land is the porn sites. Fantasyland is anything Hollywood is throwing at you niggas. Fantasyland is niggas on Instagram lying about every fucking thing, you know what I mean, with the fake selfies like they happy and shit, but they really stressed out. That's the Fantasyland. And everybody scrolling through Instagram, oh, I want to be like her. I wish I could have the duck face. You know what I mean? And people getting surgically enhanced to try to look like the next person. Motherfuckers want to look like the Kardashians and Amber Rose and all of that stuff. That's Fantasyland. Yo, going to the doctor, give me a butt. Like, I want a booty like Kim K. You know what I'm saying? I want boobs like that girl. They got girls on Instagram that they screenshots and shit like that. Fantasyland. Don't want to live in the reality anymore. You want to live, and it's cool because there's nothing wrong, you know. I mean, like, we live in a holographic universe. We live in a world where fantasy and the real world has been superimposed. You don't even know what's real anymore. There's no more real world. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no more real world. Like, niggas go to Orlando to look at a mouse. You know what I'm saying? Like, Mickey Mouse is real, my niggas. In certain people's minds, you can't tell me that shit is fake. It's not a fantasy. Jesus is real because motherfuckers, billions of people died in his name. You know what I mean? Like, there's an alternative universe where that nigga is really existing. So you don't know what's real anymore, especially in America, especially in the West. Maybe when you go into Europe, maybe when you travel to Africa, it's different. But this shit right here, that's why everybody comes here to live out their fantasy. This is Fantasy Island. North America is Fantasy Island. You could be any fucking body that you want to be. That's why niggas is transhuman. They're transracial. They got the little trans age. Old ass white motherfucker said he's 6 years old. They got the white girl that thinks she's a cat. You're trans animal. You could be anybody that you want in America, and they allow it. That's what they do. This shit is, you know what I mean? Like, this is the land of make-believe. This is the land of Nod. This is fucking Oz, my niggas. This is Oz right here. So, why don't you could be whatever the fuck you want to be. I'm not judging nobody. This niggas that, like I said, every day in Harlem, it's a grown-ass nigga, Mad Diesel, with a tutu on and a skirt, riding by on a hoverboard with mad makeup, and his whole face is beat. Nigga comes skirting out of Mac store. Grown nigga with facial hair. You got makeup on. He want to be anything he want to be. You know what I mean? So that's the world that we live in. That's the world that we live in. People don't want to face reality. Reality is too fucked up for them. Reality is too real. It's too, you know what I mean? Like, they don't want to plug into that world. So they created a world of their own. And then when social media came along, it blew that shit the fuck out the water. So a lot of people are living in fantasy land by plugging in to social media, by plugging in to the matrix, which is the AKA internet. And that's the truth. And I'm not judging. I'm accepting what's going on because I'm the observer. I'm just sitting on a branch watching this shit. Day by day, each day goes by, I'm disconnecting that shit piece by piece, pulling my soul and my spirit out of this matrix and just observing, not really taking this shit personal. You know what I'm saying? It's almost people is acting like they fail. Niggas is walking around like, when that shit ever existed, it was always conflict. What the fuck are you talking about? You